Hello everybody, this is Tim here again for another video. This time for a review for the Hawkeye miniseries, which I finally got around to watching. Haven't seen Moon Knight yet or the What If miniseries. Those are next. As far as the new Marvel phase has been going, I think the movies have been kind of average thus far. Like Black Widow, I've done reviews for basically all the Marvel products of all, at least of the MCU. Um, Black Widow was just kind of underwhelming, just kind of pointless, not really needed. It was meh, passable. Um, Spider-Man No Way Home, I actually really enjoyed. That's been my favorite so far. And Shang-Chi was just kind of all right, slightly better than Black Widow, or somewhat better than Black Widow due to some of kind of the cool special effects and stuff. But overall, it was just kind of a 2.5 out of 4 compared to Black Widow's low 2. I'd give Shang-Chi like a 2.5 out of 4. It was like an all right, slightly below average MCU flick. Nothing to write home about, nothing to really go out and see unless you're a big fan. But I'm a completist, and I'm also a big fan, so I'm going to see all the MCU flicks and DC movies and pretty much everything else that I enjoy overall in franchises. And of course, every movie can't be amazing. There's always going to be some misses. But yeah, what I'm getting at is so far I've enjoyed the mini series that MCU has been doing for Phase 4 more than the majority of the movies for Phase 4. Loki, I thought was great. The first season that's done so far. I know they're doing a season 2. I'll get to that whenever I get to see it. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I also thought was great. I liked it better than WandaVision, even though people seem like WandaVision seems to have a higher rating than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I remember last time that I watched them, I haven't seen them since I watched them the once, so maybe I would feel differently now. But the last time I watched them, I enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier more. I think that was probably because I liked the whole political real world themes and all that more than the fantasy create a fake Leave It to Beaver sitcom world or whatever that Wanda did in that show. Even though I still do really enjoy that show, I was kind of bored by the first few episodes though. But I almost said Falcon and the Winter Soldier again, but the Hawkeye show, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 4. I think it's actually the weakest of the shows so far that I've seen. It's not bad. For the most part, it's just kind of good through the majority of episodes, but it has a strong final in the final episode, which the endings count much more than the beginnings in terms of movies and shows. So overall, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 4. It's a really good, harmless Christmas themed show. You got Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, who's now going through hearing loss because of all the explosions and stuff he's been near. And then you got this other girl played by Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld, who is really good in the Bumblebee movie, which is the only great Transformers flick. She's really good here. She plays this girl who was around when the first Avengers happened, and she saw Hawkeye falling off a building or whatever, shooting arrows at the Chitauri, and he became her favorite hero. Her dad was killed in the chaos. Her mom is played by Vera Farmiga. Now Vera Farmiga from the Conjuring movie, she's okay in this show. She doesn't really leave a huge impression. She's fine. She's just there. There's not really much done with her character until towards the end of the show when you find out. Spoiler alert: she's the villain. Through the show, they kind of trying to make you think it's actually her new husband, who's just kind of this goofy comedy relief character who had trouble getting a read on because he is so goofy. But by the end, he was just kind of the comedy relief. He was fine. He did a good job. He's like an expert fencer. He was fun. Haley Steinfeld does a really good job here. She's probably the standout in terms of the newer characters that they've been making to be the new Avengers team for whenever they get around to it. She's pretty much been my favorite so far. She does a really good job here, and she was great in the Bumblebee movie too. Very cute girl. One funny thing though is that Hawkeye's going around teaming up with this girl. They're trying to find the Ronin suit, his old suit in his past has come back to haunt Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, because when he was Ronin, he was killing all these criminals and stuff, taking no prisoners. And one of the criminals' daughter or whatever, who's this deaf girl who's just kind of passable in the show. Eventually, she's okay by the end because she has kind of a complete arc, but she doesn't really feel needed for the show. Her arc in the show, and I know she's getting a spinoff series called Echo. I really don't know why the character's not that much of a standout here to get her own show. I don't really get why they're doing that. Vincent D'Onofrio shows up as Kingpin here, and the guy who played Daredevil from the Daredevil show also had a cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home. Now they bring in the Kingpin here, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. I don't think that Kevin Feige is counting the Daredevil show as canon to the MCU, because if he does, he has to count Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and a couple others. He already doesn't count Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything like that. I don't think he is. I think he's just basically taking the fan favorite characters, which were the ones from the Daredevil show, like Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio, and the guy who played Daredevil, and he's just bringing them into the MCU. but they're not gonna like acknowledge that show or whatever. You can just see that as like a variant version or whatever. And since we're doing the multiverse now, you can see that as like variant versions of the characters, and these are the main universe characters, just played by the same actors. That's the way I take it. I don't really think he's taking the Daredevil thing as canon. Like, if they ever get around to like bringing Daredevil into a movie with this same actor or another series, I don't think they'll really call back to that show. Um, but yeah, it's cool seeing Vincent D'Onofrio there. He does a good job in the final episode. He does take it really easy on the Kate Bishop character when he's fighting her at the end. He does beat her up pretty good, but at the same time, he seems like he's taking it really easy on her because he's taking her down fairly easily, and he could just grab her and snap her neck at any moment in time, and that kind of seems weird. They just doesn't do that. The show is kind of it's fun. It's mostly just like a 3 out of 4 for the most of it until the main last episode, which is really the most fun one because you got the Kingpin and stuff showing up. Um, but the show mostly is just kind of very low level in terms of the threat level and stuff like that from this whole tracksuit mafia characters they got, which are really silly name, and they're very much a low level street gang. Which at the same time, Hawkeye's not like a super powered villain or hero, so he's not going to be fighting like Superman level threats or something or Iron Man level threats. But at the same time, they do seem very low key. One funny thing I was gonna say this a while ago. One funny thing is like Hawkeye's running around with this hot Haley Steinfeld, 22-year-old girl, and his wife is like on the phone, like, "Yeah, honey, yeah, it's okay. I understand. It's Avengers business and all that. I get it. It's okay. Like, yeah, where are these understanding wives in reality? Like, if you're married, ask your wife would she let you run around with a 22-year-old girl for like multiple days on end? Not gonna happen. But anyway." And by the end, when you find out Vera Farmiga is actually in on it, Haley Steinfeld gets her arrested, and she goes to jail too. And so she pretty much goes to like move in with Hawkeye. Another thing that no way in hell any wife would let that happen. And she goes to like move in with him. Well, but it's a superhero show, so it doesn't really bother me. But she goes to move in with him, and she's getting trained by him and everything. She's going to be Hawkeye's sidekick to eventually take over the role as the new Hawkeye, obviously. And you got like this one-eyed dog in the show. It's really cute. The dog is, and it's like grabbing this thing and running off with it. And Haley Steinfeld like saves the dog or whatever, and it actually helps her out once or maybe once against the tracksuit mafia or whatever. And the dog is actually in a Hawkeye solo comic book, I believe, or solo issue series of comic books. I think they call it like Pizza Dog in the show, which it was also there was also a Pizza Dog and cap character in X-Men Apocalypse, where Quicksilver saves it and runs it out of the house when it's got pizza in his mouth. So yeah, kind of the same thing here with this whole pizza dog thing. But the dog is cute. It's cool to have it in the show. It doesn't really do much, but it's adorable and it's fine to have it in there. The chick who played like Black Widow's adopted sister or whatever is in the show, and you would think she would play a much bigger character or much bigger role, but she doesn't really show up till like near the end of the show. So like the episode before like the last two, and you find out she was hired by Vera Farmiga to like kill Hawkeye, who she blames for her sister's death. There's really no reason for her to blame him for her sister's death. It's kind of just like she just wants to take it out on anyone that she just wants someone to blame for her sister being dead because she missed all this time with her. But at the same time, at the end of the Black Widow movie, we see like the chick who's being set up in some of the bonus scenes of the Phase 4 MCU and also the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV series. Julia Louise Dreyfus, I believe is her name. The actor's name. She's like playing this chick who's like recruiting her own team of like evil Avengers or something. They haven't spelled it out yet. We haven't really gotten back to her yet, but she like gave her a picture of Clint Barton, Hawkeye, and said that he killed your sister, and that's why she went off to like go after him. But of course, we know that he didn't. So it does. And another thing is her character's played very goofy for the most part until you get to the end where she actually confronts Hawkeye and finally has the big epic finishing fight with him in the last episode. Where of course she admits and realizes, no, you didn't kill my sister, and all is forgiven, and she takes off. But she was serious then, but for the most part, she's just kind of joking around, and I didn't really think the comedy fit her supposed vengeful character. But the actress does like an okay job. The guy Jeremy Renner does a great job in the show. He's fine. And the girl who plays Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld, does a great job. And yeah, by the end, like I said, it's a really good 3.5 out of 4 mini series, basically an extended movie. This could have easily been a movie. All three of these that I've seen so far, or four even, counting the Loki show, could have all just been movies. But yeah, it's kind of neat how MCU is like combining the movies with like the TV shows and now the official TV shows, and you kind of have to see both to get like the biggest picture of what's going on in the newer MCU movies. At the same time, you could really just kind of know the cliff notes and not really need them. But still, it helps and informs you more if you do see these shows. But yeah, 3.5 out of 4. Harmless family fun show. Nothing amazing. Really good though. Miniseries. Perfectly fine, acceptable. Really enjoyable if you're a fan of the MCU characters and all that. Really fun. Yeah, and so that's pretty much all that really needs to be said on it. Really, it's a really enjoyable time. And once again, I feel like this is easily better than Black Widow or Shang Chi. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.